is up, you heathens and demons? Welcome back to the Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and today we're going to be taking another look at the 12 Tribes cult.
Armed with affidavits reporting child beatings, state troopers 10 days ago entered the homes of church members and took 112 children into custody. They confiscated rods used for punishment. However, a judge, without ruling on the question of child abuse, called the search illegal and released the children.
So I had this random dude comment on my last 12 Tribes video, wanting to debate me and telling me that I was totally wrong. And I had to assume that what he was telling me I was wrong about is saying that these cultists were beating the shit out of their children. So we're gonna make this episode of the 12 Tribes cult concentrate on the child abuse that they perpetuate against children that have no choice about being in a fucking cult. That's what we're gonna focus on with this episode of my Crazy Cult series, because I find it atrocious that these cults, that these religious people can use the Bible to justify torturing their children, beating the fucking shit out of their children, and get away with it and not get sent to jail like they should be, not get shut down like they should be fucking shut down if they're torturing children. Well, Nakasuchi, spanking your kids isn't torture. Well, we can have a debate about that, but I will definitely say spanking your kids with fucking wooden or metal rods is torture. That's fucking abuse, and you should not have children if you can't handle them without beating the fucking shit out of them. And you should not be able to use a 2,000-year-old book to be able to fucking justify it. But that's what they do. And you notice, they're not saying that the case got thrown out because they wasn't abusing their children. They're saying that the authorities acted against the law because they have freedom to do this. They are allowed to do this. They have freedom of religion. And we need to have a serious fucking consideration and discussion about what freedom of religion means. Because I don't think freedom of religion should allow you to discriminate against people, like gay people. I don't think freedom of religion should allow you to fucking torture your children. I don't think freedom of religion should allow you to beat your wife. I don't think these things. So what is freedom of religion? Well, you have a freedom to believe in a God. You do not have a freedom to beat the fucking shit out of your children.
We had a little bit of a warning in that some people had some dreams that there was a tidal wave coming, and that after the tidal wave swept over us, we were still standing.
There's always people that don't like what we do, and they're going to spread all kinds of rumors and lies, and that's pretty much how the raid of Isle Pond in 1984 developed to the point where the state raided it. It was all based on hearsay and lies and grossly exaggerated things that people said were going on in the community.
Yeah, you heard it right. That crazy motherfucker said somebody had some dreams about a tidal wave, and it was kind of a warning. I mean, it didn't warn them, but looking back in hindsight, they think it was a warning. They didn't all get away without being arrested. And then the other dude's gonna come on and like, this is all lies. It's all lies. We're just some God-fearing people that beat the shit out of our kids. But it's all lies.
We believe that discipline needs to be carried out in love, with patience, with self-control, and then that there needs to be restoration and forgiveness.
As part of raising children, we firmly believe in spanking children.
Now, when it comes to the discussion of child abuse, I firmly understand that still, in this modern age, spanking your children with your hand, as long as it isn't too hard, in most societies, if not by the law, I do believe that the law in most of America now is saying don't spank your kids. But in most societies, a swat on the ass is still acceptable. And we're going to talk about how I think it shouldn't be acceptable. But this isn't a discussion about a swat on the ass. This is a discussion about taking a fucking rod, a weapon, and beating the shit out of your kids. Right? Not just a couple swats on the ass, hey, you're bad, go stand in a corner, which I take issue with that alone. We're talking about taking a motherfucking rod to a bare ass time and time and time again as hard as an adult can swing that rod. That is child abuse. It is disgusting that it is even allowed, and it's allowed under the umbrella of freedom of religion, which is bullshit. You know, I do want to talk about spanking, because they're like, well, human beings have always spanked their children, and, you know, that's how you make good people. Well, I want to argue against that, because you're right. Human beings have always spanked their children. We've done it ever since we were fucking apes, hominids, way back in the dawn of fucking time. And what has it produced but generation after generation of violent human beings willing to kill each other and make war with each other over resources? So tell me again how spanking has worked out for humanity. I believe that with our evolution, we can overcome our parenting strategies that we had as fucking apes 90 to 100,000 years ago.
My name is Khalil Chambers, or it was Khalil Chambers. When I got adopted, it officially got changed to Kevin Donovan. I ran away when I was 14. It started with mainly the discipline, the child discipline, the corporal punishment, and kind of grew out of that. It was the first thing I didn't really agree with. One time I remember in particular, when I lived in Coxsackie, I was getting a small amount of training or school education, and the one guy that was doing it, he was very strict.
I hope you noticed the Freudian slip there, you know, and you know, it comes across to me as this young man is talking that he still has a reluctance to speak out against the cult, even though he's obviously doing better now that he's escaped that cult. But notice the Freudian slip when he talks about getting an education at the camp in the cult. He called it training. And if you notice, that room is very small. There's like 4 desks there. So what they're doing is indoctrinating these children into their cult. They're not educating them with the sciences and math, and I'm sure they're getting some math, but they're indoctrinating them with their fervent fundamentalist religion. And you take away that fucking rod, and I still call child abuse on that indoctrination.
One time in school, I didn't raise my hand, and he went and got a twig with buds and stuff on it, and told me to bend over, drop my trousers, and started whacking me like as hard as he could, just swinging and swinging away. And in the middle of it, I stood up, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I ain't gonna take this." And I walked out of the room, stormed out of the room past the class and everything.
Now me, as a father, if my daughter came home and told me, "Dad," and she's crying, and "Dad, my teacher went outside and got a big ass switch with buds on it and beat my ass, bare ass, as hard as he could," you know, I'm gonna flip the fuck out. I ain't gonna wait for school the next day. I'm gonna be at that teacher's house that night beating their ass. You ain't fucking touching my kids. But I'm gonna have a feeling here that this fundamentalist douchebag of a parent isn't gonna have that type of reaction.
And went over to my dad, my biological dad's office, and told him what happened. He goes, "Well, how many times did he spank you?" I go, 9 or 10 times. He goes, "Okay, bend over." And he takes out this bamboo stick about this big around and uses both hands and starts swinging it at me. And then he goes, "Since you didn't receive your discipline the first time, you got to go back and take it again." So I went back over and took my discipline the next time.
Yep, you heard it right. This douchebag father this piece of shit cultist motherfucker hears that his son just got the fucking shit beat out of him. So what does he do? He's mad that his son walked up and walked out. Stood up and walked out. That's what he's mad about. So he's gonna take out a bamboo rod and fucking beat the shit out of his kid. And it's not gonna stop there. Not after the bamboo rod that he swung as hard as he could. He sends him back to the teacher so the teacher can finish spanking that ass. And I'm not talking spanking, I'm talking torturing and abusing and beating the fuck out of him. And yet, I'm wrong for pointing it out, yo? This is what this commenter said? That I got it all wrong? How the fuck do I got it wrong, motherfucker?
No one's here against their own will. And it's, choice to be here. So when our children grow up, if they don't want and desire to be here and choose to follow the faith of their parents and of our God, our Father, then it's like they're going to leave. And then what we got is nothing. We want our children to fear going out of our boundaries.
Yep, no grill here. Fucked up grill dude is telling you the truth. They have to indoctrinate their children with fear of the outside, because as they're beating the shit out of them, if those children didn't have that fear of the outside, well then they just fucking leave. And you heard them there. We want them to fear the leave. You heard Snaggletooth motherfucker talking about torturing children to the point that they fear to leave. We need to have a serious discussion about this whole freedom of religion thing.
The way things were kind of put together in there was that it was kind of like a everybody for themselves out here kind of thing. But once I got out here and saw things for myself, it kind of showed me that people do care about each other out here just as much, if not more, than they do in there. And people have friends and can trust each other.
This young man right here is brave. He ran away, he got away from that abuse. And he was lucky and got adopted into a new life, and I hope that that new life was one of profit, and I hope he succeeded in that new life, and I hope he had all the best, because this was a long time ago. But we need to have this discussion. And I'm not saying, well, let's take away the freedom of religion. I'm saying let's fucking define it. I'm saying, and yes, I am saying we need to revisit old documents like the Bible, revisit old documents like the Constitution, and define it in our modern terms. Define it in our modern times. I am saying that shit.
The thoughts of maybe missing out on what other kids in the world get to do, or what they get to experience, where they get to go, things they get to do, school, whatever, it definitely comes in, for sure.
You grow up here, you're born here, you're raised here, but then if you were to come in, you would ask to be baptized, immersed into this new life. But when you're raised here, it's a little different. So at that age, it's not always 14. Sometimes it's a little younger, sometimes it's a little older, depending on the maturity of the child and, their ability to decide. But it's at that age that they make that decision that they want to be here. They want to commit their lives to the same purpose, because it's a commitment.
I don't know, is it just me, or did both of those children right there really come off as if they wanted to get the fuck out of there? That they just wanted to, that they're saying all the right things that they're supposed to in support of the cult that they've been trapped into their whole fucking lives. But you can see it etched all over their face. The regret, the yearning for freedom. I don't ever want you motherfuckers to say that religion is not dangerous, because it is. Just because most of the people you know abuse it and are fine doesn't mean it's not dangerous, because it is. We live in dangerous times, and I'm gonna make a video about the bombings and this new shooting of the synagogue that happened just today, and this violence from the right, the Christian right, the neo-Nazi right, because they are hand in hand now in American politics. And it's time for the Raging Atheist to step outside of his rule of trying to stay away from politics on this channel, because you Christians, you evangelical fucktards, have now made that an impossibility. You've made it an impossibility. So the Raging Atheist, the Raging Liberal, is going to be coming out more. Because this shit should not happen. You should not be able to torture children in the name of God and say it's the right way. And if you want to leave a situation in America, you should have the freedom to do so. And I think we can clearly see from that last clip that those kids want to leave that situation. They just can't. As always, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. This is The Raging Atheist. If you like my videos, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share me on your social media. Comment in the comment section below. I'll see you soon.